Hi there, Joe Clevin with YCharts, here to show you how to find international bond and equity funds using our YCharts Fund Screener. There are a lot of investment choices out there in the US alone. And when you step outside to the rest of the world, that list becomes multitudes larger. Well, fear not, because for today, I'm going to show you how to make that list a little bit more digestible, narrowing down our fund screener, which contains 80,000 unique funds, and make it into a very manageable list of qualified results, like so. And I'll also show you how to take these investments, plug them into our model portfolios feature, where you can see actual portfolio performance had that investment been a part of it. And we'll tie it all together with printing out a PDF report that'll make it very easy for you to explain to clients how international investing affects their portfolio, and you can be able to answer any questions they might have about international investing. Now, if you want to skip right to a predetermined list of the best international funds, we do have pre-built templates up here where with a click of a button, you can find the best performing international equity funds over the last year, all the way up to 15 years. But if you want to be a bit more specific with your criteria in finding those best funds, let's hop into a new Fund Screener tab and show you how you can do this. So here we start with our universe of 80,000 funds, and we'll go into Modify Securities and check International Equity under Broad Asset Class. And that already narrows our universe to about 6,500 funds, so we're kind of off to the races as it starts. Next, under metric filters, this is where we can get creative. So let's say that we don't want to be exposed to any one particular country, maybe Brazil. So choosing Brazil equity exposure from our metrics, we can set that to, let's say, less than 5% of a fund being exposed to Brazil. We'll throw that in there, and already we were at 6,500, which was a pretty big decline. Now we're at 5,300, so we're getting down there even more. Let's say then we want to filter on the best performing funds. So let's take a short duration of 1 year total NAV returns. And one cool thing about the YCharts Fund Screener is that we do have this category rank feature, which will essentially rank all funds within a category, assigning a number between 1 and 100. So let's set that to less than 50, where that'll essentially bring back the top half of funds that perform in that 1 year total NAV returns category. So we'll set that to 50. And look at that, we've already reduced, another 70% of our funds. We're getting down there to some very good ones. For good measure, we'll add on a medium range time frame. So let's do 5 years, total NAV returns. And we'll set that again to 50, which is the top half of those funds in that category. And again, chop down another almost 1,000 funds just by the 5 year metric alone. For extra good measure, we'll add on a long-term range of total NAV returns, and we'll do 10 years for that, less than 50, and submit that. And now we're down to 330 funds. We can be even more specific on other metrics. So one thing that really drags down portfolio returns is that expense ratio and fees. So we'll set that fee metric to less than 20 basis points. And would you look at that, we now have 1 page of funds that fit all this criteria, only 16 to be exact. And if we really wanted to be picky, we can exclude funds that have exposure to any one security too much in particular. So let's say excluding funds that are exposed to Apple by more than 1%. We can submit that, and that'll knock off a couple more. And here we have it. These are our list of 14 funds that you saw a little while ago. If you want to sort for the best funds based on any one of these metrics, you can just simply click on it and it'll sort it best to worst. And it looks like based on the 1 year total NAV returns, this Fidelity International Small Cap Fund seems to be a great contender. It's got low equity exposure to Brazil. It's performed relatively well over the last few years, and it has very low fees. So we'll remember this fund, and what we'll do is we'll then go into model portfolios and plug it in. Now, I've already made this just to speed things up a bit, but this is your typical 80-20 portfolio. 80% equity, with 10% being that Fidelity small cap international tilt, and the other 20 being US aggregate bonds. So here in our model portfolios page, you have a whole range of metrics that you can see, such as performance over time, max drawdowns, how much you're paying in fees, and what the current yield is. In order to condense this down in a way that clients can easily follow along, we can click the reports button, and this will generate a very nicely made PDF report that illustrates all these metrics in just a few pages. And you can also benchmark it to any other type of portfolio or security. In this case, our standard 80-20 portfolio without that international tilt. And all the metrics that follow will show you how that internationally tilted portfolio performs to that just standard US benchmark. So it looks like we've generated less alpha from the international tilt, but we've also minimized our beta and gotten a bit more yield out of that international portfolio. The returns have been slightly less than that standard 80-20 portfolio, but as we continue down, we can see annualized returns where in some years the international tilt has helped us. And if we go down even further, we have a lot more metrics that you can follow along with. But here we also have max drawdown that's been reduced over the last 10 years with that international portfolio tilt. So these are just some of the ways that you can facilitate client communications and answer questions your clients may have, and maybe even your own about international investing. And this is how you can save time using the YCharts Fund Screener by narrowing down that large universe of funds into a very manageable list that you can then use in your investment strategies. So that'll about do it for us here on YCharts 101. If you like what you saw here, please do subscribe to our channel for more great tutorials like this. And if you're not a YCharts user yet, I highly recommend that you give us a chance with a 7-day free trial, no credit card required. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.